WIBC Queens has gone on to win Player of the Year. In 2000, it was Wendy McPherson. And last year, Carolyn Doran Ballard used it as a springboard to her fantastic year. Will history repeat itself? Find out next as we begin our 2002 season. Welcome inside AMF Bowlero Lanes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the finals of the 2002 WIBC Queens Tournament. Tonight's opening three-person shootout is also a three-country shootout between Kirsten Penny of England, Kim Adler of the United States, and Cara Honeychurch of Australia. The survivor of that match will face collegiate star and Team USA member Kari Schwaeger. And the victor there will take on the reigning U.S. Open champion, top seed Kim Terrell. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt. Thanks for joining us for the first of 8 PWBA events on this tour. Working with me tonight is the defending WIBC Queens champ, Carolyn Doran Ballard. Carolyn, let's talk quickly about top seed Kim Terrell. She hadn't won a singles title since 1995 before that big U.S. Open victory in December. Now, the very next event, another major, she's on top. What brought about the change?
There's a newfound confidence in Kim. The pressures that she used to put on herself of years ago are no longer there. She takes sheer pleasure in everything she accomplishes, and she really just lives for the moment. This week, she put it all together. She had confidence, she threw the ball fantastic, and had great ball reaction. With that combination, she's going to be extremely tough to beat.
Well, there's 4 other players that might have something to say about that. I touched on the international flavor in the introductions, but there was also a big collegiate presence here and a big Team USA presence also on the show. What does this say for women's bowling?
These women prove just how far women have come in the sport of bowling and in sports in general. We have past and present collegiate bowlers and Team USA bowlers in Kim and Kari. We have 2 fantastic international players in Cara and Kirsten. With this experience and the growth in high school and collegiate bowling because of Title IX, these women have gained an education and still competed in the sport they love. Through this experience, they've gained more knowledge of the sport, traveled all over the world, and become very successful, not only individually, but in the team aspect. I think the future of women's bowling is extremely bright.
Well, we're ready for just a quick look at that future. We'll pick up the first match already in progress. We're through 4 frames here. Kim Adler has found the magic to strike everyone lined up, but Kim Adler, the only one carrying on both lanes right now. Here's a look at Kim Adler in the first 4 frames.
Here's Kim. Gets a little wide, blows the rack again.
Those 3 shots all look the same, and so did the 4th. Now we're looking at Cara Honeychurch live and ready to go in the 5th frame and leaving a 7-pin.
Before she started, Cara wasn't sure whether she was going to go up the back of the ball or try to come around it a little bit. During the week, she said she really had to try to get the ball to break into the pocket. Tonight, she said she found that every time she did that, her break point was a little inconsistent.
Cara, the only left-hander making the telecast. Had a strong year last year, 4 titles.
Ooh, a little close.
And a very weak spare there, but a spare nonetheless. So 7-pin is down.
Changed to a ball that didn't hook very much, and I think she's very glad she did.
Kirsten Penny now from England, the other international player here in the finals.
Very impressive bowler. That's really her first missed shot of the game. She bowled pretty well all week, but the most impressive match was obviously the last one. She got a little bit of a lucky break bowling against Wendy, carried a Brooklyn strike to make it to the next match, and she was just absolutely on fire for 3 games.
She wasn't. That was against Kathy Doran Lizzie, who had also bowled phenomenal throughout the event. They were fighting for that last spot on the show.
Definitely made her kept striking, that's for sure. That's who said at the beginning.
Now Kim she continues her strikes. 5 in a row for Kim Adler. And back to Kirsten, the shot you just saw her make, the Brooklyn, that is similar to the shot she carried against Wendy to make it into that final match. But she said, hey, I had a few bad breaks that match too, so hopefully it all washes out. Very nice young lady, and talking with her last night.
And especially in this type of format, when you're in 3 games, you're changing pairs after every match. Let me tell you, there's just a little bit of a luck factor involved. Not often, but I'll tell you, you can really use it every now and then.
Cara now up in the 6th frame. Like she slipped a little, turned sideways at that release.
Fell off her shot a little bit. Wasn't a very good shot. She wasn't very happy with it, shaking her head on the way back.
Kirsten qualified 5th with a 212 average. That was her entire tournament average. She averaged 213 in match play. She had some good draws. Her opponents only averaged 199.
Yes, actually very low scoring compared to some of the other matches where people were losing with 680, 690. Ooh, disastrous split.
5-count split. That'll definitely hurt. She's on a spare. I'll tell you what, these two ladies, Kirsten and Cara, need to be striking because Kim Adler doesn't look like she's going to miss.
No, Kim Adler's on fire. Seems to throw a pretty good off her hand, get a little array. It just breaks real hard at the end. One thing with Kirsten,
and a good shot at it.
Great try. One thing with Kirsten, and she mentioned, she usually has to keep up her ball speed because when she gets slow, she notices that she usually misses a little bit to the left. And actually, she seems like she got it to where she needed to be, but the softer ball speed probably helped it to jerk through the nose a little bit.
21 300 games for this lady. She has the front 5 going for 6. Yeah, carrying that 10-pin. She's found the right combination. And Carolyn, I know you found it. You could, if you got the right ball in your hand, you could carry. But otherwise, it was tough to carry.
Absolutely. I mean, pair to pair, they were very different. You know, each lane, it wasn't always the left lane that hooked more or the right lane. It was very critical if you have the right ball and be in the right part of the lane.
Cara Honeychurch trailing Kim Adler by 53 pins, and it'll be more with that 6 count.
Cara might be experiencing a little more carry down. She is the only one on the left side of the lane, and she did say as the week went on she felt they got tighter. That was a better shot. Much better shot by Kirsten. Threw that one a little bit harder. Still, projection looked real good to the right. Basically, the whole field, except for Cara, played to the right, especially as the week went on. They moved further right. And Cara started the week further left. And like I said, she said they got a little bit tighter. She could go to a little bit more aggressive equipment.
Okay, so Kim Adler, who has turned her focus strictly to bowling for this year, as she had said she was spreading herself a little too thin, working in her jewelry business, Kimbo Creations, and so she said her new focus now is bowling. She wants to enjoy bowling and put all her efforts there.
I think it really did play with her mind a little bit. She felt, you know, she had orders for jewelry. She had to be practicing. Just got to be too much. So she had to choose one or the other. And right now, she said, for the next couple of years, her focus is bowling. And it's looking pretty good so far.
It sure is. That's a front 7. And it's been a long week so far. But how did we get it started? And several of us started off at Miller Park. And Carolyn Doran-Ballard threw out the opening pitch. And that wasn't a strike either, Carolyn. But hey, over the plate, little high. Everyone had a lot of fun. She practiced hard for that, I'll tell you. She was out in the parking lot.
I practiced for 2 days.
There's a look at the score. Kim Adler in the lead by 77 pins, working on 7 in a row.
Funny, even though Cara had a great year last year, she said, you know, one thing, she She still wants to be better than she was last year. Did not make many changes in her game. She just wanted to improve on what she was doing and make that the best it could be.
Oh, well, that was an unfortunate break, 7-10.
No, and actually she looks a little uncomfortable. The last 3 shots, the one ever since she slipped on that shot, she seems like she's gotten either a little quick or she's fallen off balance at the foul line. That was a disaster. She got that one, she tugged that one right off her hand.
There's a look, Carolyn, and all the international players here this week.
It's definitely grown over the years, and the talent, I made a comment, within the last 3 years, the talent at the WIBC tournament has just really gone up. So it's really, it really proves that the women bowlers of all caliber have definitely gotten better.
Well, there's more opportunities for them to learn.
Absolutely.
More training, more coaching, more sponsors.
Great comeback shot for Kirsten.
So Cara taking one. Kirsten with a double, but Kim Adler pretty much has command of this match as long as she just keeps hitting the pocket.
Kim said only about 10 days, actually she said 10 days ago exactly, made a little change in her game with Bill Spiegner. Instead of being so deliberate with her push away, she's made it a little more compact, got it into the swing just a little quicker. And I'll tell you, I've always thought Kim is a great bowler. Didn't bowl up to par last year, but I'll tell you, she looked great this week.
Yeah, she was 10th in points last year, 12th in earnings, and that is definitely not her par. She said she lost her feel.
Pin coming around, boy, it might trip it out.
But a good run, front 7, that's the way to start in the WIBC Queens tournament. It's the way to start in any tournament.
And she also made the comment, for not being on a show for quite some time, that's a great start.
Cara Honeychurch just trying to finish out here. She's in the 9th frame and going high. She just never really got comfortable out there on the lanes.
No, after that one shot, it just seemed like it threw her off just a little bit. She seems to be missing way right on her shots.
Kim turning the spare, staying safe, and you mentioned Cara just wanting to improve on what she's doing. She actually said to me, you know, if I have the same year I had last year, it should be good enough for Player of the Year, because I have to hope Carolyn Doran-Bowler is going to back off a little bit.
And I told her, absolutely not. But I appreciated the compliment. Actually, Cara is probably one of the most talented international players I've ever seen come over here. She's a very deliberate bowler. She practices a lot, very dedicated to the game and to herself, taking care of herself. So she deserves what she gets.
Saw some of the medals that Kirsten has won. In fact, she just decided to bowl this event last week. She came back from Egypt. She won the Sinai. Whoa, gets a break there.
Trip 9.
She won the Sinai International Open in Cairo, Egypt, and went back to England and said, okay, I'm going to go to the United States, and Storm sponsored her to come over, and she was able to bowl this event, her first Queens event.
I think she'll be back next year, too, with this performance. Better shot by Kim.
So Kim Adler survives the shootout. When we come back, Adler will face her next opponent. It's collegiate bowler Kari Schwaeger, American City. Final score of match 1, Kim Adler 278 to Honeychurch's 190 and Penny's 201. And we have a special guest with us, Dr. Dean Hinitz, sports psychologist. Welcome, Dean. We're glad to have you here.
Well, thank you.
There's a lot of interesting things about sports psychology. So tell us, what is bowling sports psychology?
Well, in a nutshell, it's really about peak performance. And we're talking about a couple of things here. We're talking to the next performers here, competitors. We're talking about really how to have the best of the best happen at a time like this, when you have to call it fourth.
And we're ready for the semifinal match. Kim Adler progressed, and she'll be facing Kari Schwaeger. 278 game, big game, Carolyn.
It's honestly, that is one of the best games I've seen Kim bowl on TV. I mean, last year she was not happy with her performance on TV. Nothing was coming together, so I think Kim is back. And that's excellent. I mean, the talent was always there. Just she worked, you know, fine-tuned some things in her game, and she's back.
So we'll get our first look at Kari Schwaeger, actually a collegiate bowler, and she too decided to enter late, and it's her first Queens event, taking a deep breath. first individual television show here for Kari, and she cannot win money because she's bowling in college, so they're going to provide a gift certificate to a car dealership for Kari.
I was wondering where that was when I was in college. That's a wonderful gift.
Yeah, well, it's too long ago when you were in
Exactly.
college, Carolyn. Dean, how much of the bowling game is mental and how much is physical in your opinion?
Well, I would say at this level, we're talking about 5 of the best bowlers anywhere, and all things being equal, at this point, at this moment, I would say hugely mental game, mental emotional game is going to come into play.
Kari covers up the spare.
At this point, it's about controlling your emotions, focusing whatever energy you have cooking in your body, and putting that into the ball.
Emotions definitely come into play because sometimes they are uncontrollable, even though you try to control them.
Yeah.
Well, I find it interesting that so much is mental, and yet we discussed this a little before. To my knowledge, most of the bowlers have someone that works with them on their equipment, a physical conditioning coach, their technical game coach, but very few of them actually have a mental coach.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful shot by Kari. Stone 8. Tell you,
Well, at this point, these players at such a level that
great shot.
there's just a few things that are going to give any of them an edge over any of the others, frankly. And some of that's going to be how to bring into focus and bring into a game like this the very best of the best that they have.
So bowlers and athletes are really missing the boat by not doing the mental aspect of the sport.
Well, I would say some of the other sports are figuring that out. And I think that as the money is increasing in this sport, again, people will be looking for that mental edge most definitely.
So Kari sits down, and we'll see how she handles that unfortunate break in the second frame. Meanwhile, Kim Adler back up, and this lady has done nothing but hit the pocket. Carolyn, on her fill ball, she threw a different ball.
She threw a different ball, I think, just to see what type of reaction would give her on the lane, just in case this one maybe stops hitting for her. She doesn't like the way it rolls. You know, and let me tell you, sometimes you get that little bit of feel where, you could bowl a great game with the ball, and all of a sudden, something happens. So just to be prepared. And one thing Kim is she is prepared.
Definitely. One of the most prepared bowlers out there. And yourself, too, Carolyn. You're very prepared, usually.
You have to be. These women out here, I'm telling you, you have the bullseye on your back every week. They're great athletes.
Kim very deliberate today, taking a lot of time on the lanes.
She's not one of the quickest bowlers, but she is taking quite a bit of time, more so than usual.
And missed that spare, but Kim talked to us earlier about the changes she's made in her game and what it's done for her.
Game.
Well, exactly 10 days ago from today, I came up here to the Chicago area and worked with one of my coaches, Bill Spigner, and he looked at some videotapes from about 2 years ago when I was bowling much better and found that my swing was much more compact than it has been for me the last 2 years. So we just worked on changing and making it more compact and not out so in front of me, and that has helped my game tremendously this week, obviously.
There you see the mini scoreboard, and that's sponsored by Travelodge Hotels. As we take a break, Kim Adler trails by 11. Working on WIBC Executive Director placed the Tiara earlier today, and Joyce Deitch, WIBC President, presented the trophy. Barb Chrisman, co-owner of Storm Products, 3-year sponsor of the Senior Queens event, gave away the dollars to Shirley Hintz. It was a great tournament earlier today. Came down to a one-game roll-off after a tie. Shirley Hintz defeating Pam Buckner, but we're ready for the WIBC Queens tournament. We're in the middle of the semifinal match. Kim Adler trails by 11 pins. As she steps up in the 4th frame, on a strike, she'll trail by 1.
One of the other aspects that we can emphasize on Kim's game when we're talking about the mental, I mean, she said she started the tournament, her first 2 games, 160, 140, boom, comes back to only be -20 for the block. Gets a break and knocks out the 2.
Big break there. And that's one of the key signs of being out here on tour and learning how to do that. Although you could probably teach that without being out here, right? how to come back from a
Absolutely.
bad start.
It's so important to shake off anything that happens, just as whether it's a game, a block, a shot.
Last frame, when she was on this lane, I heard her say to her husband, Tommy, the ball fell off my hand.
Huh.
That shot, it looks like she moved further right. Ball not quite finishing. Let's see what she does next time she gets up on that right lane.
Well, what would you say, Dean, is the single most important mental game factor?
Without a doubt, the single most important factor has to be confidence.
Okay, so where do you get that from?
Well, the illusion is that you have to have a history of great results to have confidence now. Well, watch a shot, but I will say that's only the illusion. That's the myth.
Oh, okay. There's Tommy Adler, Kim's husband. He's looking on. Doesn't look too happy. Kim's bowling great.
I think he's just as intense as Kim is.
He is.
Kim looks like she moved further right on both lanes.
You're right. Yeah.
And she's going very direct. It's not as if she was bellying the ball in the beginning anyway. I mean, she's going very direct from the very beginning, but she looks like she's definitely moved further right. And this ball does not seem to be picking up the roll and finishing like it was in the beginning. She is further right than she was the first game. Perfect form, though. She sure does look good delivering the ball. I mean, she's got great style. She really does. If you're ever going to teach someone to bowl, that's what you want to look like at the end.
Incredible focus.
Covers it up, and as Kari gets ready to bowl, let's go back to that myth. So the myth is you have to accomplish something to gain that confidence. And there's another way to do it.
Well, the reality is that confidence really is knowing absolutely that you will do what you intended to do. It's not about forcing results. It's trusting yourself to commit and complete shots the way you intend to complete them. And you don't have to have any evidence, any titles, or anything like that. What you have to have is a history of doing exactly what you intend to do. And then as you get better and as your game gets better, it shows up with these sorts of results.
So basically that's at any level at bowling. It's not like you have to be a professional bowler to enhance that into your game.
That is one of the first things I would treat, if I were going to teach, is a commitment to execute in a certain fashion and a kept commitment, no matter what level of bowling. You do what you say you're going to do.
So Kari spared that upcoming light, Carolyn. She went Brooklyn on that lane last time.
Probably made the adjustment. She also seems like she executed that shot better. Her projection was better. She got it to the right. Pretty good shot, just didn't quite finish.
98 Youth Masters champion.
Now, the majority of the ladies also said on the TV pair they seemed to be getting tighter. As the week went on, they seemed to get tighter to the right. We might be experiencing that right now.
Oh, nice! 7-10. Stays along. And with that strike, Kari leads by 11. Queens Tournament are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by PWBA.com, the tour's official site for news and information about the PWBA and its athletes. And we're back in the 9th frame. Kim Adler has turned it around. She now leads by 21, throwing 3 strikes, 6th, 7th, and 8th frame. She's lined it back up. And there's number 4 in a row. Kari Schwaeger had an unfortunate break, chopping a spare in the 7th frame. So Kim Adler now in the lead by 31 pins. Kari up in the 9th, working on a strike. Needs to strike here to take it back to 21. These are the moments when you need all of your mental focus.
She came through. It was a great shot.
New moment in time. Shook off whatever happened and brought it all.
And the last 2 times she's been up on that lane, she has not thrown a good shot. So that was excellent.
This would be a good time to ask you, how is bowling similar or different from other sports in terms of sports psychology?
Well, of course, you know, the obvious comparisons to golf are there, and the mental games are very similar. Surprisingly, we also see some similar features to diving and gymnastics and skating, where there's no defense.
Be there!
Yeah, look at this.
This is huge. If she strikes out, she could shoot 216. She could actually force, I believe, Kim Adler to throw the first strike to win.
Yep, that's exactly what occurs. And
Because a 9-spare strike could be a tie.
And this is where, when we talk about the experience they come here with, you did not see this 5, 8 years ago out of somebody who showed up just to bowl one tournament. You know, it was very rare. I mean, they work on their mental games for these college programs, and
yes, they do.
Wonderful job. Look at this.
Come on.
Oh, that was huge.
We asked about similarities to other sports, and the difference here, I think, with any of these other sports is the frequency and intensity with which the intensity you have to bring more shots. You don't have much time at all to react, recover, and reload.
You can't really regroup. I mean,
well, you can. You just have to get very good at it.
Okay, well, big finish by Kari Schwaeger, 205.
And she has absolutely nothing to be ashamed about. Kari bowled fantastic all week. She won her matches. She made some key shots when she needed to. Very impressive. I think she's going to have a great career. I'm looking forward to watching her.
So Kim Adler will need a mark here to advance. That's the best kind of mark you can get, and a little bit of relief in Kim Adler's eyes. Kari Schwaeger, you did a great job. First Queen's tournament. Have to be proud of finishing up in 3rd place. The winner of match 2, Kim Adler. She'll advance right now. We'll take a look at a winner in the minds of the bowling industry in this week's WIBC Extra Frames.
The 85th annual meeting of the Women's International Bowling Congress is adjourned. Sine die.
With those words ending the WIBC annual meeting, Joyce Deitch finished an incredible weekend of festivities celebrating her 9-year reign as WIBC president. The weekend was full of pomp and circumstance and started with a tribute to Joyce, attended by 1,700 of Joyce's closest friends, family, co-workers, and admirers in the bowling industry and beyond. Attendees were treated to an evening of fun and laughter, courtesy of guest speakers and entertainer Gordie Brown. Then it was on to the business at hand, and Joyce led the board of directors into the convention hall to begin the WIBC annual meeting.
The 85th annual meeting of the Women's International Bowling Congress is hereby called to order.
With moments of laughter, pride, and near tears, Joyce led the meeting of nearly 2,700 delegates in a style truly her own. And in what was a bittersweet moment for all, Joyce congratulated her successor, Sylvia Broyles. We thank you, Joyce, for your many years of service to WIBC and bowling. But more importantly, we thank her for being a friend. Joyce, just as you had wished, you will be remembered as a teacher and a friend. Thank you, and Godspeed. There's a look at Joyce Deitch. What a wonderful lady.
Sweet.
Got me again.
Yes, we got her again. We do that all the time. Beside her, the lady she'll pass the torch to in August, President-elect Sylvia Broyles. We'll bring you an in-depth interview with Sylvia in a later telecast that's coming in July. But right now, coming up next, we'll be going to the championship match. It'll be Kim Adler. She'll square off against Kim Terrell for the coveted Queen's title. Don't touch that remote. Stay right there.
I went down to talk to her during the break, and she said the ball she is now using and will stick with for now is a lower pin ball, and it flares a lot. She felt like it was rolling up a little soon, forced her a little bit further left than she wanted to be. If she continues to have that problem, she said she tried on her fill shot a ball that flared a little bit less with a higher pin, and she can stay in the same area.
Okay, Kim Terrell getting ready there to...
She's losing her microphone. Before she
microphone.
gets up there for her first shot.
There's Barb Chrisman, co-owner of Storm Products, the sponsor of the Senior Queens for the last 3 years, and she stayed to watch the Queens event. Very big supporter of the tour.
Very great company and a very nice person.
So Kim Terrell's first shot on TV since that big U.S. Open victory. Boy, was that exciting. The biggest purse ever for women's professional bowling. She won $55,000 in that event.
I asked her if she spent it all already. She said no.
There's a
Tripped that 4-pin. And we still have Dr. Dean with us. And before you go away, I was hoping you'd offer a tip of the week.
Sure. I would say for people to think of their bowling in 2 initial stages. One is to plan what you're going to do before you get up there. Make a decision about whether it's ball, line, ball roll. And once in stage 2, once you get into motion, once the gears start, it is full and complete commitment to your plan. No more problem solving or talking to yourself on the way to the line.
Okay, good tip. Well, thanks so much for being with us. We really enjoyed it, and I know the fans at home appreciate your advice.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Dr. Dean Hinitz, thank you.
Kim going a little high on the left lane. Seems like that ball hooked up pretty early, right out of her hand.
Kim taking a little time here to shoot at the 369 she left.
Now, don't forget, no matter what happens this match, if it's not Kim Terrell that wins, she gets another chance.
Yes, we need to point that out.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Carolyn. Double elimination, and Kim has not lost. She's undefeated, so she'd have to be beat twice as she covers that spare. We talked about the college bowlers here this week. Well, the best in intercollegiate bowling take to the lanes on Thursday, May 16th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern as ESPN2 brings you the finals of the Intercollegiate Bowling Championships from Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York. Catch all the exciting action as 4 teams battle it out for the men's and women's championship. And 2 ladies are battling it out for the championship here of the WIBC Queens. Kim Adler defeated Kari Schwaeger in the semifinal match, 225 to 205. And it looks like she's made an excellent choice.
Absolutely. In 2001, Kim said 3 things basically had an effect on her bowling. 1, she was getting used to some new equipment. She had signed with a new ball company. Her physical game was not up to her standards. And 3rd, mentally, she let some outside influences bother her when she was bowling. This year, she learned more about her equipment, become more comfortable with it. She's more mentally fresh. And obviously, as we can see, her physical game has taken shape.
High game 258, low game 148. Kim averaged 222 in match play. Her opponent averaged 210. Oh my. There's
she
a
liked
bad
that
break.
shot too, because when she let that ball go, she did her little run out to the right there. She really liked that one. Bad break, comes in just a little half pocket, 7-10. Almost get that 7 out too, that pin coming over.
So she'll go for 1 and hope for a miracle and a pin bouncing out. But Carolyn, you were in the same position last year that Kim Terrell is in. You were top seed. You would have to lose twice to lose the match. Different strategy, or do you just go for it in match 1?
I don't think it's actually a different strategy. I spoke to Kim about that yesterday. Basically, we had the same strategy. We got up there, we're treating it like another match, but the philosophy was 1 game, I'm out of here. I'm taking the trophy, the check, and I'm done. If it came down to the 2nd match, Kim's philosophy was, I'm not going to lose twice.
Good attitude.
And you know what? With her confidence factor now, I don't think she would.
Well, look at that match play average, 240.7. That was a new WIBC record. The old record was held by Dana Miller-Mackey, 237 average back in 1999. So she set a record here, and she was not to be beaten.
No, she was not. I think she shot a 5 700 series in a row, and her lowest was going for 1st place. And still won the match, threw it great. I mean, that was just from game 1, she was set in that match play.
Look at the maximum score. That's should they strike out all the way to the end of the game. Kim Terrell in the lead by 4 pins. Kim shot a 300 the very first game of match play.
I think it was against Jan Schmidt.
I think it was too. A bit of trivia there. By the way, I said thank you very much for her doing that. Took all the pressure off me.
Yeah. Went high again on that left lane. She seems like she made a move to the left, but it's still hooked up early. Now, like I said, Kim Adler said the same thing, but she was telling me that it was the ball that was causing it. Kim Terrell does not look like she's using as much surface as Kim Adler, so it could just be that the lane hooks more for her. She changed to a ball that goes a lot straighter. Shoot right at it.
Nice cover.
Well, if I remember correctly, when she bowled in the U.S. Open in December, she had one lane that she was a little lost on, and come the tough frames, she made some really good adjustments, and she threw, I think, a 4-bagger or 5-bagger to basically lock up the match. So knowing the champion that she is and what she's coming off of in that victory, see some good moves out there.
12 years on tour for Kim, 14 national titles, and in all of her shows, this is her very first Queen show.
Very first Queen
Never made a Queen show.
Very first Queen show, and Kim went 8 years with winning at least one title. Last year was the first year when she didn't, and that's what I think mesmerized everybody, was because she was so consistent for so long.
And that snapped that streak, and she needed one more. Last year would have tied Lisa Wagner, who holds that record.
What doesn't Lisa Wagner hold? What record doesn't Lisa Wagner hold?
Well, you should talk. You broke like 11 of them last year,
records
Carolyn.
are made to be broken.
Hey.
Oh, here's a good omen.
Queen's champions to Player of the Year. Last year it was Carolyn Doran-Ballard, Wendy McPherson in 2000, and our scoring assistant here, Anne-Marie Dugan, did it in 1994 after winning the Queen's title. So midway through this match, it's a close one. Kim Adler is in the lead. We'll be back with the final frames. Don't go away. Away, Kim Adler a strike and a solid 9-pin in the 7th frame.
Now we talk about those breaks. She tripped the 4-pin on the right lane and then leaves a solid 9. You wonder when it's all coming around.
So Kim Terrell now in the lead.
Ball hooked early, right through the nose. Same thing. Seems like she moved a little left. Perfect.
That was her last 3 shots on
the left lane.
The left lane, yes.
And like I said, during the whole week, pair to pair, the lanes switched.
This is Kim Terrell's 3rd consecutive Queen's show. 3 years in a row. She's made 4 altogether. She has 3 third-place finishes. And there she is high again on the left lane. So we have a really tight match. Kim Terrell in the lead by just 3 pins at this point. Don't forget, double elimination. If Kim Terrell loses, we'll have another entire match.
I'd also like to say a quick hello and hope you're feeling better. Joyce Vanaka, Elaine, and Nikki Giannoulias' friend, feeling a little under the weather, and wanted her to know that all the PW players were thinking about her this week.
Right, we're wishing her well. And Kim covers up that spare. So it remains 3 pins. Kim Adler now stepping up in the 8th frame. She definitely has lined it up and has been in the pocket the last 4 frames. Her last title back in 2000.
Ooh, she missed. I'll tell you, she got that ball in right off her hand, looked a little left of her target. She didn't get the 4 out that one. She tripped the 4-pin last time on that lane, missed a little left. Gets the swing down a little quicker. It's a little shorter, a little more compact. Gets it in. She's been getting the ball out to about 8 on the shot. That one was a little bit in. Didn't get it right of 10. Went a little high. Kim told me all week, though, she really never got left of 12-13, getting it out to 8-9. Basically stayed in the same area, just changed balls. And that's Kim Adler.
Right, yeah.
I keep forgetting that.
Look at my last name. So with that spare, Terrell in the lead by 4 pins. Adler now getting ready to step up in the 9th frame. Really has to set up a strike here.
One thing this week, we did bowl on a sport condition, a certified sport condition. They oiled the lanes 39 feet, used offense oil. We're bowling on synthetic lanes. Both ladies said that the sport bowling last year made them better bowlers. Yes, they had to make some changes, but they felt in the overall scheme of things, they felt better for what they had bowled on.
Mini scoreboard showing you max score of 234, 238. Sponsored by
Messenger.
Wow.
That left lane keeps sending the messengers.
That one almost sent it all the way to the right lane. Come on. Oh,
she
yeah.
liked that one. There's the excitement of Kim Adler.
Kim Terrell, 9th frame. And a big setup shot.
As they used to say in the olden days, that's the foundation frame. That's the one that sets you up for the 10th.
So Kim Terrell now leading by 4 pins, but she's on the left lane where she's been struggling.
Let's see if she makes the adjustment, or something that a lot of the ladies said this week they were doing. Instead of making a big move, they threw it a little bit harder. Instead of trying to make a big move, because sometimes when they did that, got the ball too far down the lane, hit that break point, went through it, never recovered.
Well, Kim Terrell will need 2 strikes and 7 pins to shut out Kim Adler.
Oh, she threw that one hard and high flush.
She sure did.
Yes, she did. Put a little more speed on that ball. Last shot on that lane might have been a little soft. It was hooking a little early on her. Threw that one a little hard, got the ball out onto the lane, which beautiful. And she likes it. And let me tell you, when Kim Terrell shows you emotion, you know she likes it.
Needs this strike and 7 pins. This is for back-to-back major events.
Got down the lane. She liked it. She's smiling. She made a great shot. She can't expect any more of herself. She makes the spare.
So Kim Adler still has a chance here, but she will need 2 strikes. Okay, well, Kim Terrell did all she could do. 227. Kim Adler's going to need 2 strikes and about 4 pins to wrap this one up for the first match. And then we would have another championship match.
As Dr. Dean said, you have to step up to challenge. Kim did. Now, Kim Adler, the last 2 shots on this lane, has gone just a little high, tripped the 4 once, left the 4 pin the second time. Goes high. It's all over.
Yes, you can smile now, lady. That is back-to-back major titles. Kim Terrell, the WIBC Queen's Champion for 2002. She'll enjoy this moment, and we'll be right back with more. Queen's Tournament are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by PWBA.com, the tour's official site for news and information about the PWBA and its athletes. Final score of the championship match, 227 to 214. Kim Terrell was victorious here at the WIBC Queens Championship, and she has a lot of gifts on hand. Joyce Deitch, WIBC president, with the tiara. And they're tag teaming. Here comes Roseanne Kuhn, executive director, with a pendant.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, Roseanne.
And now that she's crowned and jeweled, Joyce Deitch has a trophy for Kim.
It's incredibly heavy, so be very careful. And it is for a very reward young lady. Thank you.
And I know you're looking for a check. So Sylvia Broyles, president-elect, is coming in with the cash.
I guess I can swing it.
Just hold it.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kim. Beautiful bowling. Remember, number one.
Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank WIBC, Reno Tri Properties, Travelodge, and everyone here at Bowlero Lanes for making this such a memorable week. It was just a fantastic 4 days for me, and I just don't know where to start. Everyone at home, my coach Rod Ross, Dr. Dean Hinnitz, my family at home that's always been so supportive, and I know everyone's at home happy and enjoying this moment, so thank you.
That wraps it up for this year's WIBC Queens. Kim Terrell, now the U.S. Open and WIBC Queens reigning champion. Tune in next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for the finals of the St. Clair Shores Classic. For Carolyn Doran-Ballard, I'm Jan Schmidt. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, be safe. So long from Milwaukee. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.